welcome back to Breakfast Connect on Africa Business Radio. You are still listening to Sector Thursday edition of the program. My name is still Bimbola Uyele. And we are talking micro pensions this morning with the industry having been described as a gold mine waiting to be tapped. According to a report from Price Waterhouse Cooper, by the end of 2017, it was estimated that Nigeria's micro pension industry would be worth 61.1 billion naira, with an expected real return of 4.5% annually. And if all the assumptions leading to that projection is extrapolated today, the actual worth of the nation's micro pension industry will be quite impressive, to say the least. But what is micro pension, and what are the benefits? Are there any downsides to micro pension? And how does one become a part of the benefits of such a scheme? These are some of the questions we are going to answer today on the show. And to help us with responses to these questions, we are joined by Tunji Andrews, a co-founder of Awabah Micro Pensions. Good morning, Tunji.
Good morning, Bimbo. Thanks for having me.
All right. So, well, you're a man of many parts, and now you are, diving and delving into micro pensions. In addition to perhaps the opportunities, which is a broad description of what is obtainable within that space, what specifically steered you toward micro pensions?
So I've always had a thought towards financial inclusion in Nigeria, especially with the conversation around financial literacy. And if I look at my life over the last 10 years, it's been encapsulated by that conversation of financial inclusion and financial literacy. And over the last couple of say maybe 1 year or so, the major thoughts I've had were how can we really put our money where our mouths are? We keep talking about, we need to bring people out of poverty. We need to set Nigerians more on the broader, better path. And a particular figure outstanded me, and I think that was one of the things that scared me the most into really, exploring the conversation about micro pensions, and the rest was history. But it was the number of aged people we have in Nigeria. So as of today, we have a very small number of aged people, that is people 65 and above. There are about 5 million, just above 5 million. And what that means is that in about 30 years from now, we're going to have close to 40 million aged people, people from the present Sorosoke generation who would have gotten older, and they will be in that category. And there is something called aged poverty. It's not an indicator we follow in Nigeria because, like I said, we only have 5 million elderly people in Nigeria. If we have 40 million elderly people in Nigeria, aged poverty will become a massive thing. And we see that with the fact that the country is very informal. A lot of people's ability to earn on a daily basis is directly tied to their energy. So if they do not have energy to be able to go out, if there's no security to go out, they can't earn. So it's a real thought on multiple levels. One, micro pensions looks to create greater financial inclusion. Probably one of the best ways to get across to the entire country in terms of financial inclusion, because it touches almost everybody in the informal sector. But more importantly, it is my own little way and the company's little way of just looking into the future and saying, we're going to have 40 million aged people in the next 30 years, at least half of them stand the risk of being in absolute poverty when they get there. What do we do about it? How do we try to make sure that this is not the reality? And we stumbled on the PENCOM conversation, and we found it very interesting. We started to explore it, and boom, we are here today.
So the reforms leading to the contributory pension scheme dates back to 2004, if I'm not mistaken. And
yes,
but it's taken us a while, to get the CPS going, like some other countries have done successfully: Ghana, Kenya, India. Why, has it taken Nigeria this long, to create more awareness, in terms of, people knowing about CPS? And have we really done enough, to in terms of awareness and to bring more people into the scheme?
To be honest with you, I don't think so. The real reason why it has taken us this long is a trust deficit. A contributory pension plan or a contributory pension system means that I will be giving you my money every month or every day or whatever it is for the next 30 years. And I will not ask you for that money in that time. And then I am to trust you that in 30 years, when I do retire and I do not have enough energy anymore, you will give me my money back.
Yeah, with interest.
It is. Exactly. It is a huge trust system. And it's part of the things we've also seen on the streets, conversing with people and trying to get them to sign up to micro pensions. There is the conversation of trust. And so right now we only have about 10 million people in the contributory pension system. And it's a situation whereby, give or take, the penetration has been very poor. We have 70 million plus people in the labor force. Only under 10 million of them are in the system. So it tells you how far we need to go. But, if we can bridge the issue of trust, we would go for a lot farther. But people do not trust. People have seen videos of pensioners protesting in front of governor's office, pensioners, saying they are going for revalidation or all those many sorry stories that we used to see on NTA2 Channel 5 back in the day. Those stories are not helping the conversations of pushing pension. And you try to explain to people that it's a completely different system. And then our government also seem not to understand that we are fighting an uphill battle here. So you continue to hear stories coming out of the media saying things like, out of the 8 trillion pension fund, government borrowed 6 trillion. And then you're wondering, how do you put out that kind of message? It's not exactly true. And you didn't explain the framework to this supposed borrowing. So there is a lot of narratives that we need to change. There is a lot that we need to do to get people to trust the system. So right now on the streets, I must tell you, one of the things that we keep seeing is people saying, it's you that I trust, or I'm giving you my money. That kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So they don't trust the system. It is more, you have to build a relationship with them and they have to trust you. So it's a very difficult scenario, and hopefully we will change this.
Yeah, I was going to come to that topic, later about government borrowing from pension. You want to set the record straight on that?
Yes, please. I want to. So I did see something yesterday. Somebody was saying, I was just talking about the pensions, micro pension scheme, and the person said, after now, government will come and borrow the money. And I was like, well, see, you need to understand something. So, the contributory pension scheme, PENCOM, under the PENCOM Reform Act, as expanded in 2014 and even instituted in 2004, is probably one of the most efficient laws ring-fencing money in Nigeria. Probably one of the most efficient. The Pension Reform Act stipulates and dictates where pension funds can be invested into. So it can't just be taken and put into anything. It's not a thing that a government can come and say, give me 500,000 there. It's not possible. What it is that every 2 months or so, the federal government, via the Debt Management Office, issues bonds, debt in different forms. It could be OMO, that is the open market auction. It could be T-bills. It could be government bonds. And those government bonds are stipulated to return at a particular fee. So it could be for 180 days for 6%. And it ranges and differs like that. Now, everybody participates in that market. Banks buy bonds. Most of their income comes from the debt market. Foreign investors come into that market and buy also. And the pension, the PFAs also go into the market and buy. Now, there is one thing about that market. It means that when the government borrows from you, it is probably one of the most secure forms of investment in Nigeria because it is backed by the federal might. Nigeria literally has to go up in smoke for them not to be able to pay. So it is not like the government just said, oh, give me 500,000 there, I want to use it quickly. No, it is via a stipulated market, a market investment structure, and the government must pay. There's no time in this conversation, in this arrangement, where the pension fund administrators and the federal government sit down to converse. It is through the markets. Nobody has any business with anybody. And a lot of people come from outside the country to invest there. So it is a very secure market. And it is not exactly that the government is borrowing. It's the government borrowing via the market and the pension funds investing there.
So it's not a case of, I beg, can I just...
quickly give me
quickly give me like 1 million there. I'll give you back tomorrow. You know those kind of conversations where... someone is, you see a message from somebody and you already know what they want, and and you don't click it so that that blue tick will not. When DMO will see WhatsApp message from let's say maybe Ekiti State, this governor have come again. We don't have money for you, Joe. So how is the mandatory pension contributory pension scheme different from a micro pension plan? Are there any differences?
Very subtle differences in terms of investment, in terms of holding structure, in terms of collecting structure. It is the same. So it is the same pool of funds that it goes into. It's the same custodians that hold the money. It is the same PFAs that collect the money. It is the same investment methodology. In that area, everything is completely the same. In the area of collection, however, and administration, it is different. I will explain that. So in your normal pension system, I am a contributor and my employer is a contributor. So I pay a certain amount and my employer pays a certain amount every month when I'm paid my salary at every month. For the micro pension system, of course, you don't have an employer. If you do, your organization is very informal. Okay. So what it is that you get to contribute by yourself. So it is voluntary and contributory. And the great thing about it is that the system understands that cash flow for people in the informal sector isn't stable. So it is not like a salary. So it's not like every month you get 500,000. So it's a case of today sales might be high. You pay 10,000 naira. Yeah. Tomorrow sales might be low. You pay 500 naira. So you see the variance between the two figures I called. Yeah. It's because it is very flexible. It's a flexible scenario where you contribute as you get the income, knowing fully well that you are planning towards your future. And also in the amounts that you contribute, it's also very flexible. The frequency to which you contribute is also very flexible. You can contribute daily, you can contribute weekly, you can contribute monthly. Just think about it like your long-term ajo. Really, in the context of it, that is what it really is, like long-term ajo. And the good thing also is that unlike the other, the contributory pensions system, the micro pension system is such that you can withdraw up to 40% of your savings after the first 3 months of saving. So, and that is in the fact that they know that also people in the informal sector need cash from time to time. So you can take up to 40% of your savings, because there are 2 buckets in which you put the money into. So every time you contribute 1,000 naira, for instance, 600 goes into your retirement plan, and 400 goes into your savings bucket. Which, of course, if you do not touch it, everything comes to you when you retire. But that 40% is always available to you should you ever need to borrow from it.
Okay. So, how does Awabah differ from other micro pension plans?
So this is one of the things we have, and this is one of the things we think stands us out in this conversation of pensions and micro pensions. We have decided, and I call it the gospel. Really, I call it the gospel of the micro.
I wanted to finish the song for you. You know, you started like the first line of one gospel song. We have decided. And then you ended up with gospel again. I was like, I think I should have said
it. we really do see it as a gospel. And we see, because if you look on the streets, if the formal people are struggling to be part of the pension system, imagine how much complex it is with the informal sector. So what we are doing is we are bypassing all the normal conversations. The previous people who have been on the streets have used mass media, radio jingles, TV ads, which are not bad in themselves, billboards, newspapers. But we realize that if we're going to get people to sign up, we have to build relationships. So we do see ourselves as building wealth together. And that is, if you even look at our logo, you see the slogan on there, building wealth together. And even the whole context of the name of the company, Awabah, which is pidgin for our money, is a context where we're saying it is our collective wealth. It is our community wealth. We want to grow together. We want to be able to, at the end of the day, have a collective of people smiling because we were able to take action today. So instead of looking at it from the perspective of we're just a financial service provider, we're looking at it from the perspective of we are your partners, we are your community, we are part of your family. And that is the conversation we have every single time. And for people who sign up to us, it's not just about signing to us, it's also about availing our services, because also one of the things we have that stands us out is an ability to help in conversations of financial planning. So we also, advise people in those contexts. Yes, you have a pension plan, but what else are you doing? Are you trying to get a house? Are you trying to do this? Because we do care about our community. So we do offer those add-on services free of charge also, to just make sure that our community is a better community in the future. We work with our partner Leadway Penshaw. And, we tell people that we are working together to make Nigeria a better place. Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people look at it and feel it's one of those catchy phrases people come up with. Not at all. We see it more, the way it looks like when you're doing CSR. Honestly, that is the way we feel. We feel that this is like an obligation to the community. This is us trying to play our part in national development and just making sure that, because the truth is 30 million aged people, and if 20 million of these 30 million are in desperate poverty, you can imagine the multiplier effect on our healthcare. You can imagine the multiplier effect on their children's income. You can imagine the multiplier effect on mortality and all those kind of things. So it's a serious thought for us, and we believe that if we cannot go into politics, can we at least do this to make sure Nigeria is a better place?
Yeah. I mean, so, all right. So, talking about, healthcare, and, it has really, really been a huge topic now, massive talking point, considering the times that we are in with coronavirus and the pandemic. You've, been part of a program where one sickness away from poverty.
Yes.
So, what has been, the engagement like, especially during this time?
So that is one of the campaigns I started a long time ago, about I think 2 years ago, or a year ago, sorry. Talking about people and the need to get health insurance. And I think I've always been coming down this path of trying to just get people signed up to things. And the real reason is we all have seen at one point or the other where a famous actor or a famous musician or a famous this person or a famous that person has come to social media to say, I have this, and please help me contribute, don't let me die. And as painful as those experiences and those conversations are, you always think to yourself, health insurance could, help this not happen. And nobody thinks about health insurance as money you're paying to save your life. A lot of people see it as money that I don't even have before. You want me to come and now add to give it away again. But you don't know when you're going to fall ill. Nobody plans. Nobody says, in 5 weeks, I plan to be, slightly ill. Then I will almost die, and then there's nobody that plans that. But does it happen? Yes. And those are always the conversations about things like planning for the future and making sure that in case things go wrong, and just looking at it also from the pension perspective. A lot of people we've met on the street say things like, don't worry, I'll be rich when I grow up. And we always say things like, yes, we believe you, but can you start a plan B? Just in case, so we are praying for you too. We are also joining our faith with yours that you will be rich. I crack this joke a lot. That I say the Nigerian dream is that people believe that one day they'll just be walking on the road and they'll just kick something. They'll look at what's this thing on the road. They'll just open it.
Tunji.
Money! Hey, dollar, go.
Tunji.
Hey! And they just,
It's like, I don't know who has not had that dream. I don't think there's anybody that has not had that fantasy. People friends have fought over an imaginary money that they will kick and find. That when we find that money, when we kick it and find it, so you only give me half. But it's me that kick it now. But it's me that found it. And they are fighting over imaginary money that they want.
I'm telling you. And this is the Nigerian dream. I believe that if more than half of us have thought about this, it must be the Nigerian dream. But you see, the thing about it, and the simple context to it is this. Just in case you don't kick that bag, just in case Bimbo happens to be walking on that road before you get there and kicks it before you.
That's my luck.
Why don't you plan? So we also understand that the people's mindset is very. There's also this. I will not be poor in Jesus' name. I will not be sick in Jesus' name. So we are not the type to say we don't believe that you will not be poor, you will not be sick in Jesus' name. In fact, we join our faith with yours. All we are saying is that just in case, at last, if you are also rich at that point, this money will add to the money you have, so you will not be richer. So it's all joy, So for me, it's that concept. But I also the thing I do not share with people is that the chances that you kick a bag of money on the road, and I need people listening to follow me on this, is 5 million to 1. So for every 5 million times you walk on your street, which you will not walk on your street for 5 million times, by the way, in your entire lifetime, for every 5 million times you walk on your street, you are likely to kick that bag of money once. Those odds are not in your favor. But just in case, we believe that it will happen to you. But just in case it doesn't, plan, please.
Have a plan. Oh my word, this has been really, really interesting. Gold mine, micro pension has been referred to be a gold mine. But only a few of the pension fund managers we have right now seem to have active participants in that gold mine. Why do you think that is?
So every single PFA in the country has the micro pension system. They have the micro pension plan as an offering. But I would tell you, and I don't say this to put down anybody. I understand how difficult it is to break the informal sector. The informal sector is a big nut to crack. For the normal pension system. For the normal pension system, all I have to do is go and convince the head of a big bank, as in I convince the head of their system, say, come and sign up with us, and the person agrees, and immediately the person agrees, everybody under the plan signs up under my PFA.
Yeah.
So I only convince one person to sign up thousands of people.
Yeah.
In the micro pension system, it's the exact opposite. You have to convince every single person
door to door
because it's individual. There's no film trick. There's no cheat move. There's no back forward
up down left right B.
There's no cheat move.
Yeah.
You must convince every single person. You must go to their stores. You must go to their market stores. You must go to their shops. You must go to their wherever they are. You must take that message to them and preach it to them exactly where they are, because that is how you can actually speak to them.
Okay. Unfortunately, we are pressed for time, and we have to pause it right here. But there is still more to be said about this conversation, and I hope we will come and say some more about it, at a future date. Thank you for being our key converser this morning, Tunji Andrews.
Thank you very much for having me. Really a pleasure.
All right. So we've been talking to Tunji Andrews, a co-founder of Awabah Micro Pensions, and like you said, the name is derived from the pidgin Awabah, as in our money, and the idea, is to bring in more people into the micro pension net, the informal sector, to bring them into that pension net. A lot was said in that conversation, considering the fact that we will have more people within the aged bracket in a couple of years compared to the 5 million people we have right now. Just to consider that the Sorosoke generation alone is upwards of about 40 million people, and quite a number of them also in that informal sector, not in the mandatory contributory pension scheme. Now, moving years later, and when you don't have the physical strength to do what it is you're doing right now, how do you survive if you have not put some money away? Quite a number of things, we've said in that conversation. You can listen over and over to the conversation online. We'll have it as a podcast for you. And you can share it with your friends as well. You're still listening to Breakfast Connect here on Africa Business Radio. Up next, Startup Corner, and we'll wrap it up with the market. Stay with us.